happened? Why are you sprinting, Bio?
Hungry, he gets the angry!
Oh, he's Moringa, are you ready for this?
Oh.
Yes! Bango, are you kidding me?
Why am I so much better than you? God damn!
Hello and properly welcome to another episode of SiegeGG Live. I'm Shikhar Gupta and with me is the one and only David, who is today supporting Ajax as the new Ajax manager. No, I'm kidding. He is continuing to write with us for SiegeGG. No lofty career jumps for him. How's it feeling, David? You are not in your house. You're not in scorching Barcelona anymore, right? Oh, duh. Oh yeah, lots of things to talk about, and apparently we can't hear David. David, kind of speak again? Alright, hang on. Let's see if that works. Give me a sec.
Yeah.
Speak, David!
Hey, from
Yes.
Scorching Malaga. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
We can
Cool.
hear. Alright,
Yeah.
thank you for pointing that out. But yeah, as
Thank
David
you.
was saying, he's in Malaga and he's going to be covering the Spain Nationals a little bit, and we're going to be getting a little bit of an interview, we hope, with Goga, talking about his G2 career and stuff, so that's going to be exciting, and stay tuned on our socials and our website, of course, for that bit. And it's going to be David's first LAN as a SiegeGG reporter,
Yeah.
so that's going to be really exciting. And he'll be there in
The
Berlin.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, he'll be there in Berlin, so we're giving him like some practice right now. But speaking of Berlin,
Yeah.
let's dive right into what we saw in week 5. Week 5? No, week 6. We are
week
basically
week 6,
we are basically at the end of stage 2 at this point. So we're gonna start as per usual with APAC North, and surprise, Damwon and Sandbox make it to Berlin. Both on the same day. Sandbox did it without even playing. So now the question again is, they missed out on Charlotte. Sandbox, through really not much fault of their own, they were given quite a short straw with the whole ping issues with the APAC playoffs, and then now the APAC playoffs got removed. Damwon Gaming, of course, we know how good they can be. Their Sweden major run was incredible, but SI from both these teams, Damwon and Sandbox, was not very good. I think Sandbox were last in their group, like dead last in their group, and Damwon were only 9th to 12th, which is the same where Elevate finished. And I think, I don't know where Cyclops was, but Cyclops didn't make it. So, David, this new meta, lots of Finka, lots of LMGs, is kind of developed. You got the Azami plays coming in as well. A couple of teams using Sens here and there. What are Damwon and Sandbox going to be able to do?
I think that the current meta really favors Damwon. We are used to see Damwon playing a very aggressive style, like Rin with Sophia's LMG, and we see a lot of Finka. It's a play style that sometimes, like on paper, favors APAC style. So I think that they can actually do something important in Berlin. We will see if they can repeat their Sweden major run, but we could see that. They have won all of their games so far this season, including the regional ones played in Korea, which is very impressive. They are the only team in the stage that has won all of the games, so that's impressive, regardless of the league you're playing in. And Damwon has dominated the whole league. Like Sandbox is a bit behind them, but Damwon is like one of North America's main treats, honestly.
Yeah. Funny you say that though, David, because very funnily enough, I think Super was co-streaming APAC North one of these days or something like that, or he was talking about Damwon specifically somewhere around Charlotte, maybe, or maybe after somewhere in stage 2, I don't quite remember, but he said, to my memory, he said that Damwon are not really a threatening team in his regard because, you know, they're very predictable, he said, and we being the Sonics, can take them down. I don't know whether that's a bold claim, or we might see it get tested in Berlin itself, because both Sonics and Damwon are going to be going to Berlin, of course. So we'll see how that basically shapes up. But like, from your knowledge of Sonic's playstyle, do you think like Sonics have it in them with their bounce back to take down Damwon, how they play? Because I do tend to kind of agree with Super in that Damwon aren't extremely unorthodox. They are a very different APAC team in that regard, in that they play Siege the quote-unquote right way. There isn't too much surprise, like the stuff that SiegeGG does, ridiculous nonsense at times. Damwon doesn't do that. Damwon's very calculated, measured, but that calculation and measurement makes them predictable. Do you think that NA, you know, being the dominant region, have Damwon figured out, have Damwon covered?
If NA has covered Damwon, you mean?
Yeah, do you think that they can see off the challenge of Damwon? Like, you know, last time Damwon's really good, but now, like, I mean, at SI they kind of struggled. This time...
Yeah, in SI they actually struggled a lot. I mean, they were knocked out by the Sonics.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Previously I think it was Oxygen. So they struggle a lot against North American league teams. At the same time, they didn't play Charlotte. Last time we saw them playing against North American league teams was like 6 months ago.
Exactly.
That's enough time to think about different strats and everything. Think about it this way: Damwon Gaming, Damwon Kia, sorry. They are playing APAC. It's a very different style, and they didn't have any complications. They could have been like practicing already some North American counters, like ways to counter the North American play style. I think that Damwon Kia has enough time to figure out something. And although Super is right, I mean Super is right. He's usually right. Well,
if Super says it,
but
right?
Yeah. I think that we cannot speculate, base it on like 6-month-old results right now. I think that Damwon Kia has like the potential to beat any North American league team right now. We'll see if they actually do it or not, but yeah, we'll see. But I think that they have the
Yeah, I think you're right. They have the ability, and let's face it, they added PJH as a coach to their stable this time around. So they're gonna have a little bit more like strategic firepower. And I think the biggest, well, if you look at just APAC, of course it's just APAC. But if you look at just APAC alone, you can see that there has been a transformation within the Damwon stats. There aren't strats, sorry, and the stats, of course. As a result, because the player I kind of want to highlight right now, it's Rin. Rin was not doing well in stage 1, right? There was a big drop-off of Rin's form around the time SI came around. In stage 1, he also kind of struggled, if I recall, or if you guys recall, because I'm sure of this fact, if you recall, when Damwon played against SiegeGG in the APAC playoffs, Rin was the worst player in that match. He got 1 kill on that final map. 1 kill, and he died like 12-13 times. It was not a pretty sight. So the fact that Rin is right now the 4th highest ranked player with a 1.21 rating. He's also up there in KD, number 5. He's up there in KOST as well, 72%. Clearly things have been working, and Katsang of course joins in with the plans as the rest of his team, like Yas, Koda, Woogieman and Rin, are dominating the other categories. So statistically in APAC, as David pointed out, so like what I'm doing here is just I'm bolstering David's point with evidence. Like this is the proof is in the pudding. You look at the Damwon players, like hell, even when PJH stood in for Woogieman one game, he performed really well. This team is set up to perform excellently, to perform at its highest. And I think that is very dangerous because it's allowing each of those players to kind of stretch their legs and uniformly work together. Look at how close the ratings of Woogieman, Yas, and Rin are. 1.32, 1.26, 1.21. These three guys are absolutely crushing it. Coded's not far behind, 1.14. And then of course you have the hard support player of Katsang, who is also 1.03. So he's doing like exceedingly well. He's even got 2 1VXs. So the fact that Sonics beat them and Oxygen beat them in the SI playoffs, it is a concern for sure. And the fact that they are relatively predictable is of course a problem. But while I agree that they are predictable, I think that things have changed enough in terms of strategy, mentality, and just form that this is like we're looking at Sweden Major Damwon again. And we've talked a lot about Damwon. Let's quickly talk about Sandbox as well, because if you're looking at this right now and you'll be like, well, you know, Damwon aren't number 1 in any of the categories except for KOST, and that's right. Arukaze alone makes this list 4 freaking times. He is in the top 5 leaderboards. He is the top rated 1.37, by far the best in KD, outshining Yas. Arukaze is plus 33, Yas is plus 21. Alright, Arukaze has 3 clutches as well. He also has a 74% KOSC, which is number 4 in the whole league right now. Arukaze is absolutely on fire and has to be considered the signing of the stage in APAC, and potentially I think maybe even the world. I mean, I'm probably wrong. There's probably someone somewhere else who has done a little bit better, but like you have to kind of look a little bit, or you have to make an argument that Arukaze is not the best, because Arukaze is like dominating everything. Sandbox look amazing at this point. Now the only downside for Sandbox is, as we've seen in the results and we see in the stats over here, Arukaze is doing really well, but the rest of his team not so much. So you know, you have Goodbye somewhere down the list, Envy Taylor's just even, and then Trial and Static, these guys are negative in terms of rating, so not the best. David, so let's quickly talk about Sandbox before we like move on from APAC North, or like these two Koreans. What is Sandbox's potential?
I honestly, today I was checking Twitter, and I think it was Elevate CO was talking about Elevate's year being very consistent, and if ever some other team in APAC has been so much consistent. Sandbox Gaming, well, not all the players now, but players like Emmy Taylor, for example, they come from rosters like Mantis FPS, Element Mystic. They have like lots of experience. I think that these some of these players have been dominating Korea for the last years, but they are now just behind Damwon, and now it's just Damwon, but nothing about Sandbox. We are like all the time talking about Damwon, but Sandbox is like just there. I think that we have reasons to be like that. Damwon really like looks very strong. Sandbox Gaming, otherwise, I think they lack something. Arukaze has been like having a hell of a season. It's incredible. Like the games he has been playing, amazing. And he has been one of the reasons why Sandbox Gaming has already booked a ticket for Berlin and not Cyclops. Cyclops, they have dropped some important games. For example, that 8-7 loss against Sandbox. You see, that game was the difference. Like that game
and 8-6 against Fnatic. That is like that one you have to look at. Like look at where Fnatic is in the league table. That one's like you can't be losing to Fnatic.
You cannot. But that Sandbox Gaming loss that also made a huge difference, because now you will be heading like Sandbox would be like playing against Damwon, and you will be playing against Reject, and the history could be like super different. What I'm saying is that Sandbox they have qualified, but they are not one of my favorites to do something huge in an international competition, and that's why I brought up where do they come from? They come from teams that they have been like playing in various international competitions, but they have never done anything special like Damwon Kia has done. I think their best position in an international game competition is a quarterfinal finish in the Sweden Major.
Yeah.
And they were defeated by Damwon Kia, the same. So it's like they are now just not what they were before, and as of now, I don't think Sandbox can do much internationally speaking. Like, I would probably consider them like the fourth in the group, in possibly any group that takes place.
Yeah, unless,
hopefully they prove me wrong, because I love Sandbox, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's unless they get like Wolves in their group, I think they might be safe in that regard, because like the other EU teams seem quite beatable. But we also have to, I guess, just like to close off this Sandbox discussion, we also have to kind of just remember that Sandbox are a work in progress. They effectively changed half their roster prior to stage 2. Like, Good Boy Nova Swap was on the penultimate play day of stage 1, and then after they played one game against the Chiefs, they lost, and that was it. That was the stage 1 complete. And they also brought in Arukaze, who's to his credit performed extremely well, but of course maybe we have the rest of the team adjusting. They also brought in Fangxi, who is like the another coaching alongside Nova. So lots of role changes, lots of like philosophy changes, lots of player changes going on in this team over here. So I guess that is what we maybe should keep in mind, in the sense that we shouldn't expect too much out of Sandbox, but we also don't have to disparage them, I guess, when they probably inevitably don't perform in Berlin, is because like that's going to be essentially their first international event. It's like the first international for Arukaze and Good Boy, easily, right? And then Fancy is also, I think, the first time he's going to be going as a coach. Nova is new in the coaching role. Everything's a little bit different. So I guess a better barometer for them will be what they can do in stage 3. Now, quickly closing out what we have been talking about in APAC North, the relegation fight got very interesting this week. Spear Gaming took 3 points against Reject this time out, and we also had Fnatic take an 8-7 win over FAV. So these 2 games that went in are basically the 4 teams that are locked in to that relegation battle. And because of how things played out, right now you have Reject in 5th with 15 points. You have Fnatic in 6th with also 15 points. And then Spear in 7th with 12, and Fav is last with 11 points right now. So it's extremely close, and of course, next week is obviously going to affect the league table a little bit more, but this is pretty much what we're going to see for the foreseeable future. Spear play Fav, who are definitely beatable. They don't look good. Fnatic play Talon, which is going to be a hard match to win. And Reject play a CAG, who are probably going to be quite demoralized because they can't do anything. They can't make it to the Berlin Major.
This is a really important game, because they are going to play for 6 invitational points.
Exactly.
And that's going to decide who's 3rd and who's 4th. And if like a regulation loss happens, then if Fnatic or Talon win the game, they are going to finish in 4th. So this is like a battle for 6 invitational points between all these 4 teams, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big one, and really, it's very hard to tell. And it's a little bit, I guess, insane. It feels to think that, Reject were like nothing, 2 wins and like 5 losses in stage 1, and they're potentially going to be like roaring back to potentially a major in stage 3, and definitely like I think Reject, I would say like trajectory wise have my highest hopes of not being in the relegation fight come the end of the year. Now Apex South time. Well, this week it got spicy in Apex South, and it got quite interesting as well. Because where we had I think 6 teams who were able to qualify this week before this week's games to Berlin Major, and now it's down to 2. And that's because Knights took a 7-5 regulation win against Direwolves. It was a really good performance from Knights, and Direwolves were a little bit off. Harambe did not switch on in that game. But the second game was even more impressive. Game Gladiators shredded Wildcard 7-1. Alright, that was an insane performance, and the other results mean that it's going to be a straight fight next week between GG and Knights. It's the very first game, and that is going to decide who the hell is going to go to Berlin. Now, David, this is looking super spicy, but tell me what's your read on these APAC matches that's happened this week, Apex South matches.
Well, I was in Amsterdam, so I missed those, but I watched the highlights, the SiegeGG highlights that everyone can check in our YouTube channel. So, honestly, I really want to talk about this one because I couldn't believe what happened again. There's a point where you start thinking if it's a joke, but it's not a joke.
We'll talk about Gaming. We'll talk about IG.
Okay, not yet. Okay, fine.
We'll talk about that next. That was too ridiculous. But let's talk about the good stuff.
Okay, cool. The Knights won against Direwolves 5, and that's a really important game. You could say, oh yes, now we have a fight, a very it's a beautiful fight against Game Gladiators and the Knights, and it's going to be awesome last week. But what happens? Direwolves are not going to the major. The Chiefs are not going to the major either. Is it good for APAC in terms of the next Invitational? Yeah. It is not good for APAC. So honestly, I love seeing diversity and teams qualifying for international events and having rookies and everything. I love that. I love seeing new faces, but this is not good for APAC. We could head to stage 3 with just Elevate inside the top 16, which is not
very
good. It's concerning. Yeah, it's concerning, especially considering that stage 3. I'm not sure if it's gonna be like that, but I guess it's gonna be like that. There are no playoffs, which means that teams will get 215 points instead of 225 like other regions. So it's not a good situation for APAC as a region. But still, the Knights won, and I really like the Knights. They are a very good team. They have really good players, and not just good but charismatic as well. And I think that it's good to have them in the fight. I also love Direwolves, but it's sad because they had some initial problems with COVID and everything that surely has affected their season, but it is what it is. Then Gaming Gladiators won 7-1 against Wildcards. Expected, I would say. Not such a one-sided victory, but expected. Gaming Gladiators come from a very good streak of games, tough result against Elevate, but they won against Direwolves. They have also won against Fury and Chiefs, so they deserve to be up there. And the Knights against Gaming Gladiators is going to be a very tough fight that I think that the Knights are going to win, basically because they have the experience, and I think that's going to be a very important factor in that game. And Elevate won against the Chiefs. They booked the Berlin Major ticket.
That was that game in Elevate. I'm telling you, I don't know if you like watched it, because like I don't know if the highlights do it justice, but if you guys haven't watched the Elevate versus Chiefs game, go watch at least like the first half, because I'm telling you, I've never seen such a Jekyll and Hyde performance from, I think, any team ever. The first 3 rounds, it looked like Elevate thought they were already qualified for Berlin. They were playing like actual golds, like truly. They were playing like straight up. They didn't know what they were doing. They were picking the wrong operators. They were picking the wrong weaponry. They were just going all over the place, solo plays, hero plays, getting themselves killed in like absolutely stupid fashion. Yeah, and then suddenly from like round 4, it's like Elevate. Remember? Oh yeah, I'm Elevate. Like I am like the best team in Apex.
We're playing Siege.
I don't understand it. That was the craziest performance that I have seen. Like contrast. It was nuts. The other 3 rounds, it looked like Chiefs didn't know what they were doing, because and you could tell it's because Elevate were making them look bad. But in the first half, or like the first 3 rounds, Chiefs were like playing okay, but Elevate were just out of the blue. But you know, the real drama, man, the real drama on that game
I'm excited.
on that last. It came in the last game. Invictus Gaming versus Fury. Now, look, I was expecting, as were the casters actually, if you go listen to the cast, we were all expecting essentially a close game, because Fury have been doing well, you know. Just in general, they have swapped out their players. They brought in APU, I9, and they also brought in BG Man, and we're like, okay, it's going to be a good game. Fury are on the up, Invictus Gaming are inconsistent. But as Sirius Barbatos in chat described this game was a clown fiesta. Invictus Gaming and Bank really doesn't go well together. They were 6-2 up. Invictus were destroying, like absolutely positively destroying Fury. Hysterics was rolling back the years. It looked like this was Hysterics back in like 2020 when he was on Giants, right? And he was just shredding everyone. And then, you know, Fury got the plant down in the basement. Alright, Fury went down to 1 member against 4. Like Colis, the Thermite on blue stairs. And then it all fell apart for Fury right there and then. Like, it was for IG. Like, Colis was given the easiest 1v1s of his life. Like, the easiest. If you saw the way that you know, once like Colis got the Jaeger coming in from square on the first floor, if you remember that bit, and then he goes back down blue stairs, right, to kind of fight the people who are going to be on the diffuser. The echo. So like you have one guy peeking in from bomb chassis over to like the basement blue stairs, and the echo is like, you know what? Like this guy doesn't need my help. We don't need to trade this kill. I'm just gonna go and try and stick the defuse. You idiot! Like, if like Colis crosses over, he has a line of sight on you, first of all. And second of all, the bomb chassis guy, what if he loses a fight? As he did. Then you are screwed, because then like Colis has a free push onto you out in the diffuser, and I don't know where the hell the 4th guy was, as you were left alone at the end. Just absolutely misplayed. And you could tell that there was no one like coordinating that, and that's exactly what Mentalist kind of talked about at the end as well. This is a new team in the sense that you have you have one rookie at this level, you have one guy who has never played outside of Australia, Nate, and then you have Hysteric Speakeasy, who was straight fraggers, and you have Mentalist, who was, I guess, kind of a shot caller in Fnatic, but the thing is, he said in the interview, no one on the team has experience leading a team, IGL. And I think this stage, more than ever, it shows. It shows absolutely. IG were 6-3 up on Bank on the first play day against Knights. Alright? They have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overtime. Yeah, 5 overtime games. 5 overtime games. Alright? And they have only won 2 of those overtimes. 3 of them, they have lost those overtimes. they cannot put momentum together. They cannot coordinate things, and the sloppiness is so obvious. Big problem that they don't have like a leadership figure, and that's something they need to iron out ASAP. Someone needs to take charge. Effectively. Hysterix pointed this out at the start of stage 1, and he was like, we're just gonna like go with the flow. But you know, when you go with the flow, you have like 6 people talking, or like 5 people talking. Like, no, I think we should push this. No, I think we should like clear the guy. No, let's just go in. And then like it's complete clown fiesta. So that retake, I think that 1v4 retake is a microcosm of their situation right now. People are just doing whatever they think is best, and they're not coordinated. So it's not a strats issue. It's just get them working together as a team. They'll be fine. Yeah,
for sure. The quality is there, the talent is there. So they just have to figure out those small things that make a huge difference.
You know what's funny? Speaking of IGN, before we move on from Apex South, what's really funny is that it's XIG versus XIG for the second Berlin spot next week. It's Joe as a player for Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, I know,
the medal as a coach for Knights. Yeah. Which is really funny because IG are out and they have to watch and sit and watch and just like, which one of my former teammates do I want to see going? Which one will make me feel less bad? Who knows? Who knows what's going in their heads?
Should we go with Europe this time?
Yes, it is time, I guess, to move on to Europe, to another team that really at times has looked so sloppy and so inconsistent. But this week, like, what the hell happened this week? They run the Russian gauntlet this week. It takes 7-2 Pones. All right, now Pones, I guess, is kind of like G2. They beat Pones 7-2. So like, okay, Pones are like not getting paid, right? They're in a little bit of trouble. Outsiders are probably not getting paid either. But like the manner of victory, 7-2 and 7-0, and suddenly G2 are back in the running for Berlin. 6 points, and they're short up. David, what the hell is happening? Can G2 still make it?
G2. Do you remember last week that I said, okay, I'm gonna do just like what I did with NIP and I'm going to say the other thing around. So it seems like it's happening. I'm not sure if there are Spanish viewers here, but I am the Tomás Roncero of Siege. If there is Spanish viewers, they will understand. If not, I'm sorry. So yes, G2 had a really good week, really strong week, honestly, against the Russian teams, who are at the bottom of the standings, but still you have to win these games. Last stage, M&M Gaming didn't qualify for the Charlotte Major because they lost against Secret and Pounds, and that made a difference. Look at them now; they are in second place, and third place, and that could have happened last stage as well, but. Inconsistency problems. It is what it is. And now G2 are back in the fight because it's not all only like small wins. No, we are not talking of 7-5 or 7-4. No, we are talking of a 7-2 and a 7-0. And what is the main tiebreaker in Europe? The round difference, right?
Big win in round difference for them.
Exactly, round difference. So right now G2 is in 5th ahead of BDS, and G2 are facing Secret next week, and then they are facing Heroic. So if they actually win against Secret by a big margin, not really big, on like only 7-3 or 7-4, something like that, and Heroic is playing against Navi. Navi is still in the fight for Berlin. We could have a very, very spicy game between G2 and Heroic in the very last week of the stage. I just want to point this out. Last stage we saw an Heroic against Rogue, and Heroic win against Rogue meant that G2 was qualified for Charlotte, right? Now we are going to see G2 against Heroic, probably, likely, for a spot in Berlin. And let's remember, G2 are just 400 meters away from the venue. So, if you like memes, from, I don't know, Rainbow Six events or this kind of accounts, you have to watch the games from next week and the following week, because you cannot miss that. You cannot miss it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Look, the thing that really stood out for me, I think, and someone pointed out on Reddit as well, was that this week's games, if you look at the player cameras, particularly during the tactical timeouts, the person talking the most on G2 was Virtue. It was like not like Prano, as you'd expect. Prano, we thought, was the IGL, right? As far as we know, I'm not sure that he is the IGL for G2. If Virtue has taken over IGL in TUTs, for example, and it's yielding such strong results right now, Prano's got to back it up with like stats, which he did in this 7-0. So I think like this switch may just be exactly what G2 need. Like, obviously they tried Prano on the IGL role because that's where he came from the success on Rogue. But if the switch has really happened, and obviously we haven't spoken to G2 yet to ask like, hey, what's going on, but everyone performed excellently. Like, Virtue got like a 1.21 rating by getting 2 kills, or rather 2 kills minus that round that was missed. It's like he barely had to do anything, and he was clearly coordinating the team, at least by the tactical timeouts. In the Poles matchup as well, I think there was one round where he was just like chewing out someone. He was just like on the call, on the mic, and he was just like blabbering, like obviously telling like, oh, what the hell are you doing, or like whatever. Like, he's driving people together. And of course, you know, we all harken back to Fabian's legendary IGLing. Maybe, you know, Virtue won't be the same, but just at this point, we need someone who can put these 5 players together, make them play cohesively, which is like the same thing that we're talking about for IG, right? And we've been talking about this for G2 from the very start. Like, if anyone can bring these 5 players together, then the super team works.
I just want to say something about. I just want to point out something from G2. We're talking of a team that started the stage horribly, regardless of talking about G2 or another team. Okay, the stage was horrible. I still remember that game in Bank. I don't remember against who was it. 7-1 loss in Bank or something like that. Let me check. Against Rogue. That game was horrible. Like, it was horrible. I'm not gonna talk about it, but it was horrible. It's amazing to see how this team has changed in such a short time, and especially considering that Shaz already announced his departure after August, after the Berlin Major, or after this stage ends. Imagine if G2 actually qualifies and wins the Berlin Major. That would be like incredible.
Suddenly, like, Carlos is on the phone again, like, hey,
like,
what up?
Yeah, hello, I'm still here. But yeah, it would be like amazing, and I really want to say that G2 has like, completely changed some things in such a short time that it's actually impressive, regardless of G2 talking about Secret or whatever. Like, big congrats to them, because they went from nothing to having a chance to actually qualify for Berlin, and it's insane to think that they are still with such a realistic shot at Berlin. It's insane.
Truly, it's weird. I don't know what's gonna happen, but as you said, Secret should give them a good cushion with round differential. Heroic's gonna be a tough one. unless Navi, as you said, surprise us against Heroic. But like we are talking like Secret's a free win, but Secret themselves this week had like a pretty good week. They smashed the shit out of like Wolves 7-3, denied them Berlin qualification by one more play day. Berlin obviously is where Wolves are headed anyway. They have 6 straight wins, but Secret also beat Pone, so it's not quite straightforward. And we know how up and down G2 can be, and Outsiders and Pones are the weakest teams in the league right now. Minus 18 round differential and minus 17. 7 and 4 points for Outsiders and Pones respectively. It's not looking good. So Secret's going to be a little bit tougher, especially since it looks like Secret are also picking up form right around now. So we'll see. It'll be pretty funny if they make it, because it'll be like an NIP thing again. Yeah.
In terms of results, Outsiders has had some incredible bad results. Like against Navi, they lost 1-7.
7-0 twice this season already.
Against Rogue, 0-7, and against G2, 0-7 again. That's 20 negative rounds. That's incredible.
I mean, I don't know whether they are getting paid or not, because the results kind of look like the same issues happening with Pones, but we obviously aren't sure about that. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not getting paid though. Like, there's a war going on. So
I mean, complications.
Yeah.
I mean, we also have BDS, who might miss out on Berlin, which would be impressive, because that has never happened. Remember that BDS has qualified for every single international event since getting promoted to the European top flight. Yes, there was that season where they ended at the bottom of the standings, but sure. But it can be surprising, and it could be like finally seeing BDS making changes, because they have had like a very, very solid roster, and they still have it obviously. But yeah, their last change was the signing of Bride in June 2020. That's 2 years.
This week was like particularly bad for BDS. Like, they lost in OT against Rogue, and then after that they gave up a 5-1 lead against Eminem to lose 7-5. They lost 6 straight rounds against Eminem, and like I don't know what the scoreline was at the half. Let me just quickly go through it. So Rogue were 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1. Okay. So sorry. Yeah, I remember now. So BDS actually fought back well to force OT against Rogue, but like it flipped in the next game where they had the 5-1 lead, and they just threw it away. So I don't know. Like you're right. Like Usus was nuts. Like, holy crap, what a player.
Eminem is. They are so talented. Eminem was my favorite roster. Yeah, just like the experience. They have Nello, who basically like is the they call him like the I think they call him the Godfather, if I'm not mistaken. Now I remember interviewing Nello before the Six Invitational, and Usus and Solotov are insane players. Their fragging potential is incredible, and you also have Tyron and Neo. It's such an incredible roster, honestly. We will probably see them, and we will also probably see Rogue in Berlin. So who's going to be the fourth team? We will see.
Yeah, we'll really have to see. But Wolves, aside from that 7-3 loss, surprise shock loss against Secret, I guess it was just like they were just too far ahead of themselves. They're like, oh yeah, we can qualify for Berlin, and then they just like dropped the ball. So lucky for them that no lasting damage. They still made it, and 6 regulation wins is really good. Excited to see what Wolves can do in Berlin, but who the hell knows? Like, it's one
I honestly, Wolves are playing really good Siege. Honestly, really good Siege. But I cannot trust them in an international competition. They haven't done it there yet. I will have to wait until the first game in Berlin and see what's gonna happen. Because yes, the Siege they have been playing is incredible. Well, not incredible, but really good, especially considering how Europe looks like right now. But if you look at previous tournaments under Team Vitality or under Wolves in Charlotte, the team was not getting the good results, honestly. So we'll see. Berlin is another chance. Let's see what happens.
Right. Now, I think that's pretty much EUL I talked out so far. So EUL's going to end last, by the way. They're ending August 2nd. And the major starts August 15th. Obviously,
sorry, small correction, because you live in Singapore.
Oh, right,
it's
August 1st. Yes,
Yeah.
so just 2 weeks before. That's right. The time zones a little bit ahead. But yeah, only 2 weeks. They have the continental advantage, but they will have a disadvantage to even APAC teams in how much time they will have to prepare specifically for Berlin itself, for international opposition. And you know, EU's been having a tough time. Aside from G2's flash in Charlotte, where it looked like they could have actually made the semi-finals, but then they dropped off coming back. So EU, I would say, as a region right now, unproven, got a point to prove in Berlin. So we'll see what they can do on home team advantage, so to speak. But I guess we're basically, I know it's only like less than an hour. It's 45 minutes into our talk, but we don't really have not much happened this week because it's only EU and APAC play days. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna cast our vision a little bit ahead, and we're gonna talk about the Copa Elite Six, and David is gonna lead us through a preview of basically everything Copa Elite Six, the 8 teams, sorry, and we're also gonna discuss Heather's article about why it's very likely that a Mexican and Argentinian team is going to qualify for a major in 2022 because of the format, which Brazilians call unfair. So, David, let's start us off with the preview of all 8 teams, roughly.
First of all, I want to say that it's not very likely that we will see. It's likely. It can happen. Compared to last year's format, these teams have now a better shot at it, okay? So, yes, it's more likely. But right now, looking at Brazilian teams compared to South American and Mexican teams, the difference is still really big. I would like to see Mexican teams against North American league teams. I've seen professionals talking about Mexican teams, saying that some of them could beat rosters like Mirage, for example. So they could actually give a better fight to North American rosters instead of Brazilian teams, because for those that don't know, Mexican teams have to practice against North American teams to play against Brazilian rosters, okay? Because due to ping issues, they cannot play against Brazilian teams in online conditions. It is what it is, but still they play Copa Elite Six. There's a lot of controversy about this, but it is what it is. About the format, very quickly, it's a double elimination bracket. All the games are best of 3, including the grand final. No best of 5 games, no best of 1, just best of 3. And we have W7M Esports, who are incredible. They have just lost 3 games during the whole season, which is incredible. 2 of these on overtime, so it's insane. Fury Sports, they are back. They are just very, very consistent team, and they are not joined by Team One and Team Liquid this time, but they are joined by Faith Clan and NIP. And it's a bit ironic because NIP parted ways with Julio, and Julio just signed for Furia as the team's coach, and now they have it's very, very, very likely that we see both teams qualifying for Berlin. And the roster from NIP, last stage's roster, is going to be not playing for NIP obviously, but it's going it's very likely to be in Berlin, which is a bit ironic. We have like Six Karma and Team Cruelty, who come from Mexico, and we have Furious Gaming and Isurus, who come from South America. From Mexico, we have very well-known players, Morphet, Pixie, Robbie, Skimsy, and Funky. They have played for teams like Estral Sports, who almost qualified for the Six Invitational 2021. Yeah. Morphet, who has played for Timbers too. Skimsy, who has played for Atheris. So yeah, and the same happens with Team Cruelty. Gicho played for Atheris as well. Nabi played for Atheris as well, and Timbers. So lots of well-known faces in these two teams. Some of these names almost qualify for an international competition, but it's never happened. Last time a Mexican or South American team won against a Brazilian team in a best-of-3 series was in the Six Invitational 2020 closed qualifiers.
That's
a long time,
right? Which is obviously not like a top tier competition, but that's second. But like the only 2 times, it's still like only twice in the history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I was about to mention the Furious Gaming recent victory against NIP 0 in the Gamers Without Borders online qualifier. But I mean, that's obviously an important game, but it's an online qualifier. Lots of things can happen. And then you have Furious Gaming and Isurus. For those who don't know, Furious Gaming is like G2's South American roster, because they put together BJ, who is like the most well-known IGL in the whole region. He has played with so many players, insane. Then we have Dirty and Wedge, who are well-known players in South America, and we have BLK and Pechito.
You guys will recognize those names.
Who signed for Furious Gaming at the beginning of the season, and they are like 2 of the best players in the region, if not the 2 best players in the region. I expect Furious Gaming to do well. Last Copa Elite 6, they pushed to overtime W7M, and they have a coach. They have a coach. I mean, Wikipedia doesn't show they have a coach, but they have a coach. It's not like and then you have Isuros. I don't have lots of hopes on them. They have 2 Brazilian players, Gaspro and BCNTX, who come from the second division from Brazil, Serie B. Isurus is a team that was very inconsistent against Furious and Pampas, who were like who are the best 2 teams in the region. But thanks to their consistency against the other teams in the competition, they won like 4 games on regulation time and then 1 game on overtime. They actually made it because Pampas was very, very sloppy and couldn't close the games when they had to. And the bracket is basically W7M against Isurus. There's no doubt here. W7M is going to win this game. I mean, I would be real surprised if W7M loses this one, but it's not gonna happen. I don't think so. NIP and Six Karma, the same. NIP should win this one pretty comfortably. But Six Karma has been playing some good Siege in Mexico this year. So we could actually see an upset, or maybe Six Karma winning one of the maps. We will see how NIP adapts to the Mexican playstyle, and especially Wizard, who is like playing for the first time against the Mexican team. So it's going to be like interesting. Fury against Team Cruelty. Fury should win this one. I have no doubts about this one. And Faith Clan against Furious Gaming. I would love to see Furious Gaming winning, but yeah, Faith Clan is looking better. I still don't think they are in their best version, but they should have enough to beat Furious Gaming. And the reason why Haydar mentioned that South American and Mexican teams have a better shot at qualifying for an international event, to the point to say, that you can easily say that it's very likely to see one of these qualifying for at least a major.
Yeah.
It's because they go the format. They go to the lower round, to the lower bracket. Sorry, that guarantees a Mexican or two Mexican or South American rosters in the lower bracket quarterfinals.
Exactly.
The winner of that game
will qualify for the major.
Exactly.
They just need one upset. One.
They just need one.
4 teams need to just get. Two teams need to just get one upset.
In fact, it could happen in, like, the upset could happen in the main bracket.
In the upper bracket as well.
Because just imagine that there's a coincidence that Isurus wins the game against W7,
Furious beats
and
FaZe.
they go ahead. Yeah, and the other games, like, Brazilian victories.
Yeah.
That game, imagine that Isurus loses, then they are going to play against a Brazilian or against a Mexican or a South American team. So it's very likely that we see one of these qualifying for a major. We will see, because I don't see any of these teams missing out on Berlin, but yeah, we will see.
Yeah, it's wild.
For me, like, the best safe is saying that Brazil is going to and all the teams.
Yeah, logically, like, you look at all the teams, but, like, I don't know. As you said, NIP could definitely drop a game, like drop their game against Six Karma. As you said, Six Karma playing well. NIP have obviously picked up towards the end of the season, but let's not forget, at one point before that Super Week, they were 9th, and they had a 6% chance of qualifying to Copa Elite 6. So the fact that they've done it is obviously speaks to how well they actually turned it on in that little brief period. But Six Karma might just give them enough of a surprise. Furious Gaming could take down, FaZe Clan. As you said, Furious are the super team down south, and just basically anything could happen against a FaZe Clan who haven't been the most consistent as well. Like, I don't know, Soul stopped fragging for one game, and that could do it, for example. And then you basically have a really really good chance of someone making it from the Mexican or South American regions to the Berlin major. Now, a lot of Brazilians, David, have said that this is very unfair. Brazil is the best region, so to speak, but they aren't able to send they aren't able to guarantee, I guess, 4 teams at the major, and you're giving more chances for the South Americans and and Mexicans to qualify. And I think what's more important here is that you are allowing these guys to take away SI points from 5th and 6th in the BR6. I don't know. Do you think that's fair? I think this is how to do it. You just expose more and more teams to this level of play, this level of competition, similar to how we kind of brought APAC into that competitiveness by just giving them spots from NA and EU at the Pro League finals, and then later on, obviously, when the majors came in, that was different. But how else, I guess, do we bring these regions up to competitiveness?
The thing is that right now, if you look at Europe, North America, even APAC now, let's not mention APAC. It would be unfair. Europe and North
APAC
America.
Is a similar issue.
Yeah. From the 5th to the 8th team, they all get 6 invitational points. In a league like Brazil, where it's so close. Imagine North America. such a close league. Imagine that only the best 4 teams from North America got points. It would be unfair, honestly, I think.
Yeah.
Especially in a league where then you have to play a qualifier. This means that Team 1, Team Liquid, these 2 teams that qualified for Charlotte last stage, they are not going to see a single Six Invitational point this stage.
Exactly. That is the problem.
And FaZe Clan and NIP didn't see any SI point last stage, which means that let's say that in stage 3, 0-0 Nation qualifies and Black Dragons qualifies, or MIABR and Black Dragons, or INTZ, whatever. We could see Brazil sending 2 or 3 teams to the Six Invitational via global standings, maybe 2 or 3. A problem like APAC. Just imagine that APAC sends 2 teams, Brazil sends 2 or 3 teams. That's 5, and then Europe sends 5 teams after such a poor season, and then NA sends 6 teams or 5. I am not good at maths. Maybe I said 17, but I'm making a point. I think, right?
Yeah, the point is pretty clear.
We could see a team like, I don't know, Beast Coast or like Parabellum, who has not qualified for a single major, actually qualifying for Six Invitational instead of FaZe Clan, or instead of Furia or NIP. When these teams have actually qualified for an international event, and I think that's unfair, and that's even like yes, okay, you are sacrificing for 2 teams from Brazil to show off what South American teams can do and what Mexican teams can do. Yes, but does like a team like from South America or Mexico deserve going to the Six Invitational instead of other teams from Brazil? I know that I don't want to be rude to South American teams and Mexican teams. I mean, I love their work, and I think the leagues, the competitions there are really good, honestly. But when playing against Brazilian teams, historically, I am not lying. I am not inventing something now. I'm not. They don't perform.
Only 2
They don't
matches.
perform.
Only 2.
Exactly. They do not perform. They do not perform. So it's unfair to see that maybe Furious Gaming, because they finished in 6th place last stage, and maybe they finish in 5th this stage, and they finish in 5th next stage, they get more Six Invitational points than MIBR, for example, because they haven't qualified to a single Copa Elite Six, because their league is incredibly tough. But we are talking of a team that actually finished in not just last year's Six Invitational, but also this year's Six Invitational in top 4. Do you think that MIBR is actually worse than Furious Gaming or than other teams?
I mean, maybe, but we don't know. Most likely not.
It's very complicated. Yeah, I know. It's very complicated, and I think that this format is bad. And if Ubisoft, this is like just speculation, and I've talked to other teams in Brazil and or coaches and everything. If Ubisoft doesn't fix this, what happens? All these organizations, big organizations like MIBR, Team Liquid, 0-0 Nation, that are missing out on majors. Why not deciding to go to South America or to Mexico instead of investing on Brazil? Move the players to those competitions and get that free top 2
points,
to qualify for Copa Elite Six. Then that would create a weaker Brazilian scene. That's not what we want for LATAM. We have to figure out another format, and I think that last year's format was correct. But what happened? The only wrong thing in last year's format was the combination, the combined standings. That was really bad.
They changed too much. They threw the baby out with the bathwater.
If you actually change only the combined system standings, if you change that and kept the 6 teams, Brazilian teams, to Copa Elite Six, that would be fair. I think that would be really good.
Yeah.
That would be like the best option. Honestly.
The thing is, so obviously they kind of want to have more teams from Sudamericana and Mexicana and give them the competitive experience against playing Brazilians, which is good. But like this is like the opposite problem to what APAC's having. Like so APAC's problem is that they probably won't have teams at SI because like the teams who are going to the majors keep changing, and that's because of like the top 2 situation, which is like not great. Like SI points slightly lessened, but for Brazil it obviously hits harder because like while they are going to fill out their complement most likely of teams at each major, it's going to be Brazil most likely. At SI, the World Championship, where the format is designed as such that you're supposed to have the 16 best teams in the world plus 4 qualifier teams, right? 16 best teams across the entire season need to be there. And this situation basically creates a chance where it's really not the 16 best teams who are there. For example, like, I don't know, freaking Na'Vi make it, okay? Let's assume Na'Vi make it over Team Liquid at the end of the day for SI 2023. Are Na'Vi gonna be better than Liquid? I highly doubt it. Like, I don't think so. So that's the problem. SI is supposed to be an exhibition of the best teams, period, in Rainbow Six, the top 16 at the very least. So, but at the same time, while they've changed the format, you kind of want to give them like the chance for Mexican and South American teams to fight out against Brazilian teams. Maybe what can I mean, Nimitz is obviously right that yes, that there are fewer Brazilian spots and like LATAM gets the same amount of points, but the point is the Brazilian teams like historically have been better, and I think they still are better than Mexican and South American
we
teams.
come from a whole year where Brazilian teams completely smashed every region. So NIP won the Sex Invitational. It was insane. Like
so the thing is, maybe a format change can happen is you create, I don't know, like a round of 16 or something, or you bring in like 6 Brazilian teams, some shit, right? And you give the top 2 Brazilian teams a bye into the upper bracket semis.
Last year's format was really good.
Yeah, but like
everyone
I guess
is going to say the same.
How many? Sorry, I'm not very familiar, but like how many teams from Mexico and South America did we have?
The same,
right? But you had,
it was
you had
2
the group
from
stage.
Mexico.
But it was like, okay, they had the best of 1 system right in the groups. Yeah. So I guess that was the quote unquote downside, and you didn't get enough best of 3 games. Perhaps I guess they wanted to blood in these teams in the best of 3 format. Fair enough, but like changing it as they have changed it right now is obviously not the play, because it disadvantages these Brazilian teams in the wider fight for SI. I think the answer is like you either have a round of 16 where you have like more teams and you have like 5 and 6 from Brazil come in, maybe even 6, 7, and 8 from Brazil, but that kind of weakens. I don't know, like there's a lot of things that can be done, or you like send like the top 2 teams straight into the semifinals over here, which happened last year. Like if you topped your group in the Copa Elite Six, you went straight to the semifinals, right? No?
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
You qualified for.
Correct. Exactly. So it's fine. I think that's perfectly fine. Like if you're gonna be topping a group with 5 teams, I think you can after playing 5 or like 4 best of 1s, I think you can say you are deserving to go to the major. I don't think it would be like an issue of integrity. In fact, the bigger issue of like sporting integrity would be like when you have teams who are not as good as the teams who are going to SI. You have those teams sitting at home. The teams who are better are sitting at home. That is the bigger problem, rather than like trying to figure it out at the major. So either you bring the group stages back, you create a round of 16 to give more teams best of 3 opportunities, or you put the top 2 from Brazil in the semifinals and you have 6 teams from Brazil in Copa Elite 6. So
I'm just looking at the global point standings.
mhm.
Furious Gaming got 180 points each one,
Damn.
and they could, and without Pampas, they could actually finish in fifth this stage, which is 225 points.
That is
would
as much
see,
as you get
like,
for winning, right? You get 225 for being first in Copa Elite 6 as well, for going to the major.
Yeah, 225 is like a fifth place in Europe or a fifth place in North America.
Yeah.
Would Furious Gaming defeat Team 1? Would Furious Gaming defeat Team Liquid from Brazil? Like the 5th and 6th place teams in this stage?
Not in the best
Without
of three,
I
doubt it, yeah.
No.
Really
And I
don't
think it would be like a 2-0.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and the format. Well, I think that last year's format with not combined standings. I think that just solving that issue, that would be the best, because you already give a few, Mexico and South American teams the chance to qualify through a best of 3, which is what happens now. I mean, we saw Estral doing it almost against Team Liquid for the Mexico major, but they lost 2-0. For the Sweden major, I don't remember who was it. I think it was Ateris. No, it was Malvinas against FaZe Clan. They lost 2-0. And Ateris had their chance as well in the first stage, and it didn't happen. So yeah, I think that again, I really like these teams and the players, and I'm a big fan of them and they work. But we have given them lots of chances, and I don't know how the format looks like now. It's not fair, and we could see like some things changing in the future if we don't, stop it as soon as possible. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. So like limits and Kenneth, I think they're having a pretty good discussion in chat and kind of just summarizing what David and I have been saying. Like, yeah, maybe the best solution, and I think, David, correct me if I'm wrong, we talked with T-Chips when he was here pre-Charlotte. We talked about him that maybe it's time to make like the Copa Elite 6 a league, right? Like they only have BR6 on LAN, right? They have
honestly
Copa Elite 6 on LAN.
The change that I would do is Mexico plays against North America.
Yeah,
because
that was the other thing that we suggested.
It's pointless that they play against South American and Furious.
Geographically, they should be.
They cannot actually practice against them.
Yeah.
They're practicing against North American League teams.
Exactly. We said this exact same thing when. Yeah, you go to our YouTube, guys, and go to like the T-Ships episode. You will see like this same point being brought up by all three of us over here. Like, dude, it is stupid. Geographically, Mexico should be playing on NA. They practice against NA. And maybe that should be like a proper North American league where you have Canadian teams allowed, you have Mexican teams allowed, and just they play.
I don't know. You do like I don't know, a Copa Elite 6 from North America, and you do like the best 6 teams from North America and the best 2 from Mexico, and then Brazil against South America, the best 6 from the Brasileirão and the best 2 from the Sudamericano. And then you have like the same format. No, you don't like this year's format. And then 6 teams will actually get the 6. Well, 8 teams will get the 6 invitational points, as it's always the same. I think that would be fair. Yeah, it would be actually very fair. Yeah. But it's not gonna happen.
It was a weird situation, Nimit. He's saying in chat why like Mexicans went from playing in NACL to suddenly being in South America. This happened around the time when they did the format shift after SI 2020. It was very.
And honestly, it's very, very, very difficult to qualify to an international event when you have to play against Brazilian teams.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, although in 2022 it seems like it's harder if you're in North America.
Yeah. But.
Yeah. As for MENA, Card is coming in, and since we have time, we might as well like talk about this. As for MENA, I think like the MENA region. Well, first of all, they need servers. They can't be playing competitive on like European servers. And second of all, I think like it would just make a lot more sense to like lump them in with South Asia, like India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Although I don't know, like, because India is absolutely like huge, right, massively. So like North India might be able to get good ping, South India maybe not so much, or like Sri Lanka not so much.
Ooh,
But like it will give them more like it just gives them a little bit more options to just have a league, have formal competitive situation. Like so much talent in those regions has just been pissed away because Ubisoft is like not interested. Like people are playing and they're playing decently well. But yeah, it's just not work out, and the fact that it feels so weird. Apex South is where like South Asia qualifies under. Like, dude, have you seen the distance of like freaking Islamabad to like Singapore?
It's insane.
You can't seriously tell me that this is like, yes, we're gonna play these matches on ping. Monkey Hunters nearly took a map of Damwon here on like in their most dominant stage. These teams,
and against Cyclops, right?
Yeah. They beat Cyclops, or like Kira beat Cyclops. Someone beat Cyclops.
I know. Yeah.
These teams are good. Their players are good. Give them opportunities. Give them a league where they can do it, where they can get paid, etc., get exposure. Right now is completely community focused. No money except for like whatever pittance they get in like local tournaments. Yeah, just basically let's get some competition in for MENA, South Asia, and let's fix the damn issues that we're seeing in the Copa Elite 6 and in APAC. But I think that's pretty much it. We've talked ourselves out, and let's just close this out with the stats game.
Stats game, yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right.
Should I start?
Do you want to start? Do you have something lined up?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can find it quickly, but.
All right. Because I have a couple in mind.
If the annoying at decides to leave, I will. Okay, I have it. I could go for the Sudamericano stats, but I'm not gonna
don't go
that.
for
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That would be okay, let's go. SiegeGG rating of 1.07, 83-74 kills, entry of 10-9, so +1, 69% KOST, 3 clutches, 1 plant. He mains Sledge and Azami.
Wait, what? What does he mean?
Sledge and Azami.
Oh, okay. I heard this Clash and Azami. I was like, what?
No.
We'll take questions in a second. Who was the rating again?
107.
And he's in Brazil.
Yep.
Is he in Copa Elite 6? Can I ask that or no?
No, he's not in Copa Elite 6. I could give you another clue, but if I give you this clue, you are gonna get it. So I'm not gonna give you the clue.
Sledge. Who the hell's Sledge made on like?
Sledge, he is pretty iconic with his Sledge. Yeah.
Yes, it's Palu. Yes, I was like, who the hell's the guy who's been playing Sledge and shouldn't be playing Sledge? It's Palu, of course.
Like, it was like Asami. Oh yeah, let's go with that. I thought it was a bit, freaky. Let's go.
My turn.
Yeah.
All right, this guy's got a SiegeGG rating of 1.13, a KD of 66 and 51, and now here's where it gets interesting. An entry of 18 and 7.
I already know it because
who's this guy?
I saw the stats when we were talking about APAC North, and I was like, does he really have all those entry kills? I was impressed.
Yeah.
He's Yura, right? From Fnatic.
He's Yura. Like, he's a fanatic. For all their troubles and all their ridiculous losses, really poor gameplay, they have been getting entry kills. Yura with a plus 11. He's been having a real good time. He's in the top 10 rated players. So Fnatic, I'm very excited to see what they do with Mag next stage. Yeah. Damn, that's for quick. Your turn again. Now give me Europe.
I'm gonna go for one who has like a very, very easy to spot. Oh wait. 1.31 from European League. KD 78.49, entry 11 and 4, KOST of 70, 2 clutches.
Wait, what? 70?
Ivan, 2 clutches. KOST of 70. 70.
Oh, okay.
Did I say 17? Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
He means Ivana and mute. 1.31.
Probably the best player. Users? No, Users not a Hibana main. No. Users not a
You're
Hibana
close. You're close. I mean, statistically, you are very close. Users is at 130.
main. Okay, shit. It's not Users. But yeah, I mean, I knew it's not Users. It's not because he's not Hibana main.
I doubt you get him.
What?
I
It must
doubt
be.
you get
It's not Shaiko, because Shaiko he had that 0.5 rated game, so he dropped off from that one. Who else has been like absolutely tearing it up? Rise had that really bad game, but after that he's been really good. A support player who is the best, probably the best in the league. Okay, I'm gonna go with Bibu. Like he's like the support on, and he's been having a really good time.
It's close. He's third rated in the league with 126, and
Come
he mains
on.
Ivana. He mains Ivana on attack.
Yeah, I was like.
But I was talking of Amisian from Pounds. 1.31 rating. Amisian.
Amisian?
Yes.
That is.
He's first. He's first still. Because I remember the first game he scored like a 2 point something rating, and yeah, that was a very tricky one. I'm sorry, because I saw him, I was like, whoa, okay, I have to go with him.
That's nuts.
It was him.
That is actually nuts. Since NA is like over, I'm not gonna go with NA. Nothing's changed from last week, so I'm gonna go back to APAC, APAC South.
Oh, generous! You told me the region.
Yeah, Amasian. He's the best in the league. What the shit is going on? Right. Okay, let's go with this lad. 6450 in terms of KD, 1.18 rating. 8 and 10 on the entry, so he takes a lot of entries, doesn't really win them. He's got a KOST of 70%, and he is a Finca and Malusi main. Not many of those.
Not many of those. Well, I'm not
In fact,
sure
he's the
South.
only Finca and Malusi main in the league.
I remember that Ape mained Amaru, so I don't think it's him. I cannot think of many Finca. Is it Jigsaw?
Well, that is a decent shout, but Jigsaw's been maining more Yana, and he's been Valkyrie on the defense.
Okay.
Also, Jigsaw is really good at entries. He's not that bad at entries. Jigsaw's really good. It's 14 and 7.
Oh shit. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Then can you repeat the entries then?
The entries is 8 and 10, so -2.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for Ethan because Ethan didn't have good stage, but I guess that his entries are around that number maybe. So I'm going with Ethan.
Pretty good shout, but it's actually not Ethan. Ethan also went positive entries. Chiefs were the best team in entries at the Charlotte Major, lest you forget. No, the answer is someone you mentioned just now. It is Ape, who is 1.18. He's the 5th best rated player in the league right now, but he is negative on entries. He's not really having the best of times with entries somehow. Really, Gaming Gladiators just don't have a good entry, but they just always pull it back. And one thing I didn't mention, which probably would have given it away, is that Ape has 3 1vx's, which is...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that's crazy? His teammate Joe has 4 1vx's. Gaming Gladiators have clutched up 7 rounds, 1 entire game worth of rounds. 3 points.
Really?
Like literally, yeah. It's nuts. These guys are like really good at clutching. Exceedingly good.
That's really important. That's really important.
Yeah, and then Toji has 2 clutches as well. Yeah.
Wow. Wow,
Which
that's
is, like,
then 9?
Yep, 9 clutches total on that squad, which is the most in Apex South.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is like the most in all Tier 1 leagues, but I think it's one of the highest, if not the highest.
It has to be one of the highest.
Yeah, it's a crazy amount of clutches. They're really good at clutching shit, man. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We have a couple of questions, so let's just kind of go through them. No more questions, but like we'll just clear what's already there. So how would you guys rank the regions from Canif66 at the moment from the most competitive between APAC, EU, NA, and BR6? So I'm gonna go first. Sorry to say, APAC has to be at the bottom. Just because Damwon can really perform against some teams doesn't mean that every APAC team can. Maybe Elevate can. We gotta wait and see. They've only been to 1 international event. Sandbox, new roster, we need to see what happens with them. And then of course we don't know who the hell the 4th team is going to be just yet, but whoever it is, don't really expect much of them. So APAC's the least competitive internationally, followed by, I think it's obvious, EU, they have been struggling. And then of course followed by BR, who is the 2nd best region right now. Ridiculously good teams, but NA are the ones who are leading the way with SI win and Charlotte win. Charlotte all American Charlotte Grand Final. So I don't think David disagrees. So yeah.
No, I just don't. I don't disagree. Like, I mean, I could say, oh, North America Mickey Mouse League, but
the stats prove it right now. Like the wins.
Yeah. Weekly reminder for those that go to Berlin Major, please don't shout "Let's go!" blah blah blah. Please don't do that.
Bring in good chance. And another question from Canif. I think David, for you, do you think South America, Argentina, and Mexico are on the same level as BR6 teams, which is obviously not true, or do you think it's like T1 versus T2?
Team 1 versus who?
Tier 1 versus Tier 2.
Wait, I don't. Can you repeat the question? Because I don't.
Basically saying are the Mexican and like European and South American teams, are they more like Tier 2 Brazilian teams right now? Is that what their level is right now? Or are they a little bit better than Tier 2, but not quite as good as Tier 1? Yeah.
The perfect example can be found in the Gamers Without Borders closest qualifier. Furious Gaming qualified after beating NIP, and then they faced Escolinha do Bubu, who are possibly after Wizards' departure, I'm not sure if they are one of the best. I think that they actually played without Wizard. Well, Furious Gaming lost to Escolinha do Bubu, who are like the best Tier 2 team from Brazil. So that is a way to answer the question, because we have seen this type of games before. We have also seen Isurus recently defeating Golden Kids, who are Team 1's Academy roster. So I would say that the level is close. We see we have seen team players from the second division Serie B heading to Sudamericano, and not just players but also coaches and analysts. So I think that the level is quite the same. We could see maybe, well, no, the difference to IMTZ is still big. Yeah, I would compare them to some of the teams in Brazil's tier 2. Yeah, but I still think that some teams like Linha do Bobo or Supernova, for example, would finish would beat these Sudamericano teams.
Yeah. Well, that is hopefully that answers your questions. Now, and the final kind of question. So how do you work the formula for player ratings and stats? Well, that is unfortunately intellectual property. We have a former stats formula. You can go have a look at somewhere on our website. You can just look at go to the website and search stats formula.
He's Rainbow Six. He's Rainbow Six Siege's Plankton.
Yeah, and then after that, how big is your company? I think we're not too big. We're quite small. Small but dedicated team that's trying to do the best we can. As far as full-time staff go, I think we have like 8 or 9 full-time staff, and that's it. Or less than that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are contract staff. I think, David, you are as well? Yeah. So...
kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's pretty much it. SiegeGG is small, but we do our best. And we thank every one of you for all the support that you've always given us, and all the support that you've given us tonight in this wonderful SiegeGG live episode. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody, and watch out for our upcoming coverage. A little bit coverage of Spain Nationals, because we're going to be talking to Goga. David's going to be talking to Goga.
Yeah.
And we're also trying to work on a story about like the whole Pwn situation with not getting paid, and we're seeing what's there. There seems to be a lot more than what has been publicly revealed. So we're going to see whether we can get like the players to go on record. If we can, then of course we will obviously publish a story, and you can go catch it on our socials and on our website. But it's been wonderful. Thank you very much. I've been Sugar Gupta, and with me the one and only David, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.